Good morning, traders. This is Brad Matheny. Today is the 17th of September. It's early in the morning in California, nice and cool, thankfully. And this is the Plan Your Trade video. Now, we're looking at the SPY chart. And very interestingly, the pre-market data shows SPY is up 564, up a quarter of a percent, $1.35. 564 puts us right up in this level here. Let me draw it. If we stay elevated up in this area, yeah, now all of a sudden I get all these updates. If we stay elevated up in this area, right up here, then we will have moved hypothetically above this previous resistance area closer to new all-time highs, and we will only be about a little less than $1 or a little more than $1 away from absolute new all-time highs. Now, today's pattern is a topping pattern. So, as I mentioned to you yesterday, very important for us to see what actually plays out today with a gap potential and another top resistance. The way the markets are melting up right now is kind of not frightening, but kind of unique in the sense that we're seeing a pretty solid melt up pattern take place. And unless we get a break to the downside, we may just continue to melt upward into this higher level, possibly rolling up into this area and rolling back down, maybe to try to set some support. So ultimately, the topping pattern that I believe is setting up was really contingent on how this excess phase peak pattern played out. Remember, there were two excess phase peak patterns. You can see them here. And invalidation of the excess phase peak pattern would mean we move above this level, these previous high levels marked with this line here and marked with this line here. Getting above both of those levels would indicate that these excess phase peak patterns have invalidated, and now we're into a new melt up, which would push us into a trend, possibly moving, in reality, possibly moving very strongly up to the 585 area. Now, what we're going to do here, get rid of this, get rid of this. These were last week's and the week before. Okay, close enough. Now, what we're going to do here is we're going to come over here and look at this RSP chart. RSP is the equal weighted ETF for the S&P 500. And the RSP is already rolling to new all-time highs, rolling across this channeling, and very likely to potentially roll further upward into this rolling type of a high formation up here. So you can see we've got this pretty solid gap right in this area. I would say that this gap is a rough middle area, and that because again we're moving here 576.55, we're already slightly higher. We've got to watch that topping pattern today. Really, we've got to watch to see if we get any type of a roll over here, just like I would expect over here. Any type of a rollover pre-market below the 565.65 area would still validate the excess phase peak pattern. But boy, are we close to a moderate melt up here that could completely invalidate the topping pattern, completely invalidate the rollover that I'm expecting over the next week or so, and maybe push us up into this upward channeling area here And I want you to realize that this could put us into a very moderate kind of a melt up mode, whereas we could continue to melt up into the end of September, early October, and then roll down. So maybe not that far, maybe here, but we're at a kind of a make or break pattern today. It's either going to be a fairly strong melt up, and we're going to try to break above these levels. And again, RSP is showing us that we're already there. We're already going to be breaking up if this continues. If this just continues to melt up, if we get any kind of surprise move today, we do have the Feds on Wednesday. So again, stay cautious, but there is evidence, especially with this, that we are seeing a potential melt up, building momentum underneath all of this. So be aware that today looks like our make or break day. Okay, let's go take a look at gold. Gold is rolling down a little bit. You remember I highlighted this as a potential rollover. Monday potentially being a little higher, Tuesday being a rollover, and then Wednesday potentially moving up into kind of this breakaway phase. So gold is holding up, very solidly right now. New highs, 2,600. Um, Given what's going on with the markets and given the fact that the US dollar has moved down a bit, we will likely see gold make another move up to 26.35, 26.45 or higher. But it's gotta work through this consolidation, which may be another day or two before, really probably tomorrow and Thursday, gold will make a move after the Fed rate decision. But going to be very interesting to see how this plays out. And look, these were my original numbers. I thought I put these over here. So let's drag these back. Drag these back over here so everyone can see. So we're up into the 2600 area right now. 2605, 2617. We're kind of in the middle of those. These were the next resistance areas. And this 2635, 2644 is where we're going. And then it looks like we have up above 2662. So there we go. There's our levels moving forward. I apologize. Had kind of the sniffles the last 3 days. The fires out here in California and the change in the weather has kind of got everybody a little flustered. All right, somebody asked for silver. Silver's going to pretty much do the same thing as gold. Get rid of some of these earlier lines prior to the big rally. Originally, guys, I never expected silver to move much above 2960 because I didn't believe gold was gonna. I thought gold was gonna struggle below 2600 and roll. I thought silver would stay below that area. Well, now we've had this big breakout in silver. This is exactly what I was telling everyone. We needed to see a move above this $30 area. This is a good move for silver. And this melt up could be a sign because of the Fed going into the end of the year with the election that we're going to get a pretty good rollover. I will tell you that this is a great move above this high, indicating that we are now moving into a Fibonacci high price expansion. We are moving into this type of trending. We're moving into a flag, mode, flag, and then higher. That type of trending should be expected here going forward. And I think we're going to see the next phase of this, like I said, with gold, probably Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, move up into this $32 area and attempt to form some sort of a base here before attempting to move higher. So again, good, solid upward trend here in gold. And this is really a fear factor. I think it's going to become very important near the election. Okay, let's go look at the QQQs. And again, QQQs are 475.33 up in this area. Again, we've got a lot of work here to try to get up into this area and break above. So the Nasdaq still has that excess phase peak pattern setting up, and we'll see if it rolls somewhere over here down into my lower area. But the SPY looks very, and RSP look very indicative of a melt up. So I would not, again, like I warned you yesterday, it's almost better for you to wait out the next couple of days and see what happens Wednesday and Thursday. Maybe try trading Wednesday and Thursday, but yesterday was a good example of a whole bunch of nothing. And today will probably be another example of a whole bunch of nothing. But we're getting some very clear melt up trending right now. So, really looking forward to seeing what happens today with regards to the general melt up trending. And lastly, we're going to take a look at Bitcoin basing and bottoming up about $1,000, 949. It looks like we're really again kind of just flagging out in this scenario. You can see this trend line actually is carrying down very cleanly. And I apologize, guys. I've got the sniffles pretty bad this morning. And you can see we're setting up another type of a flag here. Maybe more. It probably will get a little pullback, so I'll leave it here for now. And here. So we're just struggling. We're just churning down into this basing mode before we're going to get some sort of a breakout. And that potentially leads us into this area here as the breakout range, and that's right around the end of September. So things are looking like end of September. Remember, my topping pattern for the SPY was somewhere between the 24th and the 29th. The apexing pattern here would be somewhere between the 24th and the 29th. Everything looks like it's kind of keying right around this window, the 24th to 29th into early October. Now, what it does in this window is going to be very important. So we'll see how it plays out. Same thing back here. My analysis again was showing that this next week, this week here, is going to be very important for the markets. 24th to the 29th, end of the month. And that's because the end of the month moves into this gap breakaway, carryover, crush, gap potential, inside breakaway. If we move, we're in the accumulation phase, we're in explosive trending, and we're currently in long-term bearish trending. If we roll back into bullish trending and this continues to top, roll higher, top, break higher, break higher, carry over, pull back. If this ends up being a moderate melt up through this entire time frame over into this area, especially with this reversal rally, we could be looking at the SPY moving into the 575, 585, making its way up to that 600 level that I talked about in the middle of this year, which was really, I mean, I should still have it over here. Yep, there it is. So ultimately, way back over here, before we were getting into this area, I was explaining to people how I thought we could melt up into this area, 600, 608 before the end of the year. Now, if this excess phase peak pattern ends and rolls through a melt up higher, we could get some rotation right in this area, like you're seeing right up here, maybe 587. This trend here may be more up in this area, but we've got to see how this plays out. Remember, I'm telling you what I believe the patterns would do based on the excess phase peak pattern rolling downward. But if we break up to the new all-time highs, then you're looking at this green line. If we fail to break above new all-time highs, then you're looking at this red line right here. This is what would likely happen. So we're kind of looking at, I'll get rid of some of these others. You're kind of looking at an A or B type of scenario. Either A, we're going to see this type of a move. Hold on. I don't want the. There we go. Either A, you're going to see this type of move with new all-time highs moving up to 588. That would invalidate the excess phase peak pattern. Or B, we're going to see it roll downward today. We're going to see it roll over, and we will eventually, around the 24th, 25th, 26th of September, begin to roll downward like this. So again, that's why I'm telling you to be patient. Right now, I do believe we're going to move into a vortex rally. I do believe the markets, U.S. markets, are the 900-pound gorilla. I do believe that things are shifting. Watching the dollar move down a bit, would like to see it actually move a bit higher personally. But ahead of the election here, this is pretty much par for the course. And ahead of the Fed, typically, Fed is on Wednesday. Fed decision, rate decision is coming on Wednesday. Typically, the 2 days or so before the Fed are just flat as can be. So that's why I told you yesterday, go golfing, read a book, do something, stay out of trouble, particularly stay away from the markets. They're going to be fairly difficult. And I think today is going to be the same way. Okay, look, we're getting 400, 500 plus views on my videos, these plan your trades videos. And I'm getting almost no comments. So tell me, how am I doing? Do you like what I'm doing? Can I do anything better? I know my charts are full of lines and colors and what have you, but tell me, talk to me, give me some comments, share with others if you'd like. Let's put some effort into commenting and providing some feedback so I can learn if you're really liking these or if you don't like them and what you like about them. Okay? I appreciate all you guys and have a great day. Bye.